Once again, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining in. Um, a little bit about myself before I start. I've been in the UAE since 1988. So basically, I've grown up here. I've born and brought up here. I did my schooling from the Our Own English High School, Dubai. I then went on to Mumbai to complete my bachelor's in dental surgery. That is my bachelor's. I then did my master's in orthodontics from the European University College in Healthcare City. I then did a certificate of specialization in orthodontics from the Malmö University in Sweden, which is basically saying that the master's is equivalent to any master's that has been done from Sweden. So the Swedish people, especially the Scandinavian, are very particular. So this says that this master's is equivalent to any master's that has been done in Sweden. I then did my master's in business administration and healthcare services. And now I finished my PhD in orthodontics and dentofacial orthopedics from Swami Vivekananda University in Mira. The convocation was supposed to happen last year, but due to COVID, they shifted to this year. So hopefully this September, we'll have the convocation. A little bit about myself. Other than studies, I was a clinical instructor in the same university I graduated from for 2 years. Then I got promoted to an assistant professor. I've graduated many batches, some of them who are now working and holding very high positions in DHA, MOH, working for the ministry as well. Been in private practice for some of the leading chains since 2014. Platinum provider for Invisalign. It's one of the modes of treatment. Won't get technical about it. I have over 20 plus publications in orthodontic journals and have been associated with the top orthodontic societies of the world, America, and Emirates here. Some of the publications that I have done have now become even textbook chapters. So again, won't get very technical about the orthodontic part, but we'll quickly move to the business aspect. So in the year 2020, that is after 7 years of being in private practice, I started my own clinic and I called it DentisTree Dental Clinic. And what made me switch was a lot of factors. So what happens is generally people were asking me, why would you want to start your own? You know, what is the reason? I feel somewhere down there, eventually everybody wants to work for themselves, whatever field it is, they eventually want to take their entrepreneur route. People told me that you are, earning well enough. Think about if it takes you 10 years, if it takes you 10, 12 months to break even in the business, you're also losing out. So of those 10, 12 months of salary. So for example, let's say I was making 40 or 50,000 dirhams a month. And if it takes 12 months to start my own thing, you also have to account not only the investment, but also the 10, 12 months of money that you would have lost out if you were still working. Considering all those factors, you still want to take that step because it's either you're ready for it or you'll never be able to take it. So eventually I took that step. And why I took that step and what are the things that helped me and what are the difficulties I faced, I will be sharing all of those with you today. Somewhere down the lane, even though it's a different path, it's all related. Every business has somewhere or the other these factors that can be related, and it implies to all other businesses as well. So the first thing that came into my mind was the location. So if you want to start something where generally businesses are two aspects, where if you don't want people to come in, location doesn't matter much. You could be operating from somewhere which is low cost in office, but if you're into a business where you want people to come in, you need to be in a good location, a convenient location where people can find you easily. The location should not be saturated, so there should not be 10 or 12 of those businesses, even though some of them would contradict that point. People who want to start a gold shop will go to Gold Souk where there are already 300, 400 shops. Sometimes it can help, and sometimes it can work against you. So that is something you need to study on your business, whether that will help you or not. But in general, certain points apply that there should be parking available. It should be easily, you should be able to easily get in there. One of the very leading chain dental clinic I was working for, I will not name it. They had started a branch in downtown. Okay, and especially on the school holidays, that is Saturday and Friday is where all the kids want to come in. But Friday and Saturday, the traffic was so bad to just get there. that people stopped coming to that branch, and more people asked for other locations or just stopped coming in because they don't want to spend one day of their holiday getting stuck in traffic. And the Dubai Mall traffic at that time was really bad, just 2 lanes to get in. So it took them 1.5 hours just to get to the clinic, then find parking, then get out. So they realized that the downtown branch was not a good idea. And after spending a lot, in 2 years' time, they shut down the whole branch completely. So that was a big, so that is why just choose your location very wisely. When it comes to selecting the location, one thing that I faced was when I went to the prominent places, like when I selected some malls or some good developers, they asked me for a business profile, a website, bank statements, branches, and such questions, which a startup like me didn't have. I'm just starting out, so to have a company profile, to show you that I've been in business for these years is very difficult. And when I told them that I'm just starting out, they refused to rent out those places to me. They said, sorry, your profile does not match what we are looking for. And there were some places which were okay. We were ready to negotiate. They were ready to cut down the rent. They were very accommodating. But when it comes to location in Dubai, there are certain locations you need, and there are some where they need you. So you need to have the right mix. If you have a brand somewhere outside and it's big, you're okay to go to these prominent locations. But if you're just starting out, a lot of prominent malls, they will not be able to give you a space. So you need to, again, put that mind into it when you're selecting the location as well. The second important thing you want to start is to budget. I mean, if you're ever starting a new thing, you need to just calculate each and every cost. You take a paper and pen down and always note it down something on the higher side. If you think that this will take probably 80, you write 100 on the paper. You always account for certain things which will always overshoot, or when you budget it out, you don't account for certain things. So you don't fall back on. You always have a thing in mind. Also, just take in mind that if you're, let's say any business, if you're doing a startup, you have to also account that how much time you'll be able to sustain the business in the worst scenario. So you will always have to under expect and overachieve. So just calculate that if I don't make any money from day one, how long can I sustain this business? So let's say if I'm starting a dental clinic and I know my overheads are 80,000 dirhams a month, considering the rent, the salaries, the DHA licenses and other stuff. How much can I sustain if I don't make any money from day one? And only if you have a certain holding period of 6-8 months to back you would be a right time to take that shift. Not to demotivate you, but just to make sure that things can, you can always account. So you should have enough money in your bank to make sure that even if things don't work out from how you expect, you should still be able to survive. The most important part when I was starting out is to get a good team. A very, very important team is very important. So let's say if I'm starting a dental clinic, I can't be doing all by myself. I need a good receptionist. I need good assistants. I need good staff for housekeeping. I need a good marketing manager in HR. It takes time to find these right people. You need the right mix of people for any business that you're looking at. So let's say you're looking for any other startup. Don't expect that you can do everything by yourself. It's very, very important to get a team. If you limit everything to yourself, there's very limited work that you can do. So especially when it comes to a field like dentistry, like mine, there are different specializations. So I need to make sure that I cover all those boxes and I get a good team. And only if you are a good team, you are working with a common vision, then only you can achieve. If there are some, if it's difficult to find certain team members who are always demotivating you, who are always telling you stuff that, oh, this is not going to work out, those are not the right people to be in your team. So just make sure you get the right team when you're starting this. And another thing that I would say is give it time. Even though my clinic is called DentisTree, I would say that we are just a dental plant right now. We've just started it. It takes time. You can't expect to put a seed in and have a tree day one. It takes long time. You need to treat your new business like a small baby. You can't put a baby into college. You need to start it from a play school. You need to nurture it. You need to teach it. You need to work hard for it. You will you need to do a lot of things till you can actually start making your business profitable. So there'll always be a holding period, and you have to make sure how you can grow around it. So during COVID, I realized that there are certain businesses that are really, really important. One of them was, the food industry, and the other was healthcare. A lot of other businesses were shut down during COVID, but I realized that no, healthcare is very, very important. Teeth are important, and that is what also helped me start my own, because I realized that even if there were other businesses that people were talking about that in COVID, I don't need this, I don't need that, but like education, healthcare, food, these are certain things that will never go out of business. And I then took the step to start my own. Was it an easy path? No, there were a lot of difficulties. There were a lot of, things that I faced. If I could go back, I would redo it differently. But again, this is the whole part. This is the learning experience. This is where it counts. And this is where I want to share with you that what are the things that, matters, and how you can go and take that. The first thing are the approvals. Now, coming to approvals, especially when it comes to a dental clinic, you are working with different departments in Dubai. You're working with the municipality, you're working with the civil defense, you're working with your building management itself, like your plan, your property manager, you're working with Dubai Health Authority. So you need all of them on board. So you need a strong consultant who can help you guide your right path. Because what happens is you first take the place and then you start working around it. How it works at Dubai Healthcare City, the Dubai Health Authority, is you need to give them an initial approval that this is what you're planning for. After you've taken the place, you've got the plans from them, you then submit for approvals. Now, if these approvals take too long, you have to realize that your rent meter is still clicking. You're still on, you're every day you lose, you're losing out on rent. So make sure, if you can, a good part, what I would have done differently is I would have taken the floor plans before, got my initial approval, and then would have signed the contract. So I could have saved on 2 to 3 months of my rent, which it took me to get the initial approval. So if possible, if you're looking for something which requires an initial approval or mapping, it's okay to ask for floor plans from the floor management, get that initial approval, everything sorted, because that's all your architect needs initially is the floor plans, the charts. And then once it's approved, you can go ahead and sign the contract. What is the negative of that is, if you've taken the floor plans from them, you haven't paid any upfront, and you've signed them, you've taken 2-3 months, somebody else could take that place, and that has also happened. So you have to make sure that you're on balanced out with this. So it shouldn't be that you've worked hard, you've worked on that place, you've got the initial approval ready, while when you go back to the property person, he says that sorry, the place is gone. That can also happen in the world. So very, very important to get all the approvals sorted. The second thing is contracting. You need a very, very strong person or people to do your interior fit out work, because you don't want someone who's taken your job and then has taken 10 other jobs and has promised you to work for you in 3 months and then has ended up taking 6-8 months. Is there anything you can do? Very difficult. Then I realized that I could have put a thing in my contract with my interior fit out guy that I need the place ready in 4 months. If you give it to me in 4 months, fine. After the 5th month, you will start paying a fine for me, and that would be my daily rent. So if you can put that point into your contract, that'll be very nice. If your fit out guy is really genuine and he's okay, he will probably take a month extra, and he'll be okay to put that point. But if people are really reluctant to put that point, then something is fishy. Why is he not, he's told you 4 months, you're ready to give him 5 months, and he's still not ready to put that point. You know that there's going to be a certain delay. So a lot of them come to you, say that, yes, we can get the place ready in 3 months, 2 months, 4 months, and then take 6-8 months. And you are losing out on every single day of your rent, of your paperwork. Your trade license is already ready even before your DHA clinic license comes in. So, you've spent a lot of, so every day you are spending money, because how it works in a clinic is we are working with 2-3 different departments. So I first take a trade license from the economic department. I use that to submit to the DHA to get my initial approval. I still can't start a clinic till Dubai Health Authority has authorized me, and my trade license is already on. And that is a good 15,000-18,000 dirhams of money. Along with that starts a local partner free if you're not in free zone, if you're on mainland. So next year, if it takes 1 year to get the clinic ready, you wasted 18 or 19,000 on your trade license just by renewing it, not gaining anything by it. So make sure your timelines are really, really sorted initially when you're starting something. This is why a lot of people prefer buying ready clinics, ready properties, because they know the hassle, they know the pain that it takes through to make something from scratch. I made this place from scratch. It was shell and core. There was nothing. from each and every small, sitting with the architect, detailing where this should be, where that should be, where the wall should be, how the tile should be. It takes time. So make sure you get your timelines worked out. One difficult thing we were facing, especially with in the healthcare business, are insurance companies. It's very difficult to survive without them, especially in healthcare. It's very obvious. Everybody wants to go to the place where their insurance is working. Nobody wants to pay such high health fees from their pocket. So what is the first thing they all do is, you need medical insurance. You will check where does your insurance work. You'll go to the same hospital, the same clinic, get your work done and come in. When it comes to a new clinic or a new health insurance, these companies it's very difficult to get on board with them, to get empanelment with them. So there are 10 or 12 major insurance companies operating in UAE at the moment. Name it like Mednet, MetLife, Oman Insurance, AXA, Cigna. It's very difficult to get empanelment then, especially for a new companies. Most of them don't even deal with new clinics. They say, okay, once you are 2 years in operation, then you come approach us. Even the ones who are dealing are asking for very, very high empanelment fees. They have their own price list. So they will look at your clinic, they will examine where you are, which area you are, and then give you a price list. You could be charging, let's say, 300 dirhams for certain treatment. They will give you a list which says, no, it's 150. You have to work with their price list. Also, the money then comes to you in 6 months later. So let's say you've done the treatment today, the person has gone, availed the service, left the clinic. That money comes to the clinic 3 to 6 months later. If you're really lucky, sometimes even goes up to 9 months, 1 year. So what happens is, the old clinics, once they get into rolling, that money starts coming in, then it's okay, it's easy for them. But for new clinics, that money is going to take in 6 months. So you still have to pay your salaries to your doctor, you still have to pay your rent, you still have to pay, and that money has still not come in. So account for that as well, because you need to give yourself a 6-month holding period, that money is going to come in 6 months later, with which once it comes in, then it's okay. Once it starts rolling, you're coming in this month, your money 6 months later has come in this month, you go to next month, that month's money comes in. So give it that as well. Can you function without them? Very difficult. Can how easy it is to work with them? Not at all. It's a double-sided sword. We need them to have it, because a lot of patients come into our practice. They have dental insurance covered with NAS, AXA. When we tell them we are not on direct billing with them, do they still want to start treatment? Very few of them. We offer them that, yes, you can come here, pay here, take a reimbursement form, submit it to your company, the money will come to your account. How many of them actually take that route? Very few. They don't want the hassle of first paying from their pocket, then getting all the papers ready, submitting it to the company. How long does it take for the money to come in? They prefer somewhere where it's direct billing. They just come, show their card, get the treatment done, walk out. So this is what it is, and very important to get those. And the insurance companies also have a different attitude towards the big chains or the established centers, because insurance companies need them. But for us, it's different. We need them. So their attitude to us is also very different. And lastly, what you realize is, once you're in the business, just learn to unlearn. The biggest thing you can do is unlearn some of the things. As you go, every day the rules are changing. There are new and new rules coming up from the health authority. They keep sending you circulars. What you were doing 1 month ago is now certainly out of the system, and they've just sent a new thing. You have to keep up with them. You have to keep up with the government authorities. You have to keep up with the civil defense authorities. Whether it's a waste management company or a water testing company, certainly any other day, the levels will go up and down. The rules will change. When it comes to COVID, you must have all realized how, PCR tests required, not required. Every day the rules are changing. So keep yourself updated, especially when you're working with so many different agencies. You have to learn to unlearn. You have to keep up with their rules every day. Keep yourself posted with their circulars, what's happening with them, and then incorporate. Because it's very easy when they come in and they say, oh, we had already sent a circular, you didn't realize, so now you're at wrong and you will be the one facing the fine. You don't want to be fined regularly. So keep yourself updated with all the things that are happening in the industry. But saying all this, are there still opportunities for healthcare business in UAE? Yes, there are plenty opportunities in UAE. It's growing like any other field. UAE is booming. Where are the fields that I have realized that there is still plenty of growth or opportunities left? Firstly, it's the elderly care centers. As you know now, Dubai has started retirement visas. People can now, earlier it was how it was like 50, 60 people were working. Then once they retire, they used to take and go back to their home countries. Now the rules have changed. If you have certain amount in your bank account or if you have visas, you can actually retire in UAE. And a lot of people prefer retiring here because they love the life. Are there enough elderly care centers for them? Not really. There's still, yes, at the government side, yes, but how many private centers? Not many. Is there room for elderly care centers? A lot of them, especially after COVID, after other things, they've realized that a lot of them want a full-time nurse, a full-time with for their parents, for their grandparents. So they want centers where people can come, chill. So there's a lot of room for these private elderly care centers. The second place where there are rooms are care for special needs. There are more and more centers required for treating kids, adults with autism, with other special needs. They need a lot of care, learning, more schools, more education centers. They need people to understand them, not to judge them, but just to understand that yes, that they're special and they need a lot of care. And it's a different, a lot of times they're being forced into certain schools, they're forced to fit. It's not the right thing to do. They need certain special cares. Parents need to accept that it'll be take some time. It's a slow learner, so accordingly there are special centers where they can be sent to, and there's still a lot of room for more centers to come up in UAE, especially for special needs care. A lot of integration of IT into healthcare is required. What we've realized is there are doctors who don't understand much about IT, and there are IT people who don't understand much about the medical. And there's a big gap that's happening. A lot of softwares for hospitals need to be coming in. A lot of this data from the hospitals can be taken out that can actually help the healthcare industry. How to take out this data is only when more and more IT structure, more and more softwares, more and more numbers can be run into this. Find out what is the most commonly reported problem, where is, how many of them actually need certain. So only when you run softwares into these big numbers, big hospitals, big chains, government centers, you can get these data, work on the stats, and help improve the healthcare sector back. So for that, you need a lot of integration of IT into the healthcare, and there's still a lot of room of this. Patient management softwares for hospitals, integration of X-rays into the patient management softwares, submission of insurances into the healthcare so that it's easy for doctors to fill in the details so that it can easily go for insurance approvals, come back for insurance companies to realize what is actually happening, where are most of the patients, where are most of the claims happening. So that will help all in all the healthcare sector. Pharmaceutical and medical devices manufacturing. A lot of manufacturing, there's a lot of demand here. Most of it is being imported. Not many is being manufactured in UAE now. Of course, a lot of them will say that costs and other benefits don't actually, the other things don't suit manufacturing in UAE. The cost of labor is high, manufacturing is high, raw material and other factors. But if at all in future, if at all someone can get subsidies from the government, there's a lot of room for manufacturing pharmaceutical and medical devices in UAE. Hospital and clinics in the Northern Emirates. This is a hospital chart for UAE in 2022. And if you realize, a very few private hospitals still in the Northern Emirates. So there's still a lot of room. Abu Dhabi and Dubai, yes, but once you go to the Northern Emirates, there's still a room for a lot of more hospitals and clinics there. Obesity control centers. Not many talk about it, but even more people, this is, I read a recent survey that 28% of people in UAE die of cardiovascular problems, but 62% people of deaths in UAE are actually due to obesity. Obesity is a serious problem in UAE. This article was published in Gulf News, and there are more articles on obesity, that 70% of the Emirati men under 30 are actually obese. This is a serious number. So we need more and more centers to deal with obesity. And right now, there are very few in the private sector. And lastly, it's the medical tourism. Companies that can actually help. Not so you don't need to actually open a hospital, but you can actually start medical tourism companies. You can what you can do is medical tourism companies are tying up with hospitals, with chains. There are a lot of tourists actually coming in. So how they do is they set up a package for them. You come in for 6 to 8 days. You're covering all the touristy stuff in UAE for those 2 days. You go and visit, Ferrari World and Burj and other stuff, and the Dubai Mall, and then 1 or 2 days you get your treatment done. Then again you go back, you finish. So it's like a complete package. You get they pick you from the airport, they drop you to the clinic, you get the work done, they drop you back to the hotel and back. So it's a whole package that they take in. What are the most common things that can be done with this? Mostly it's the cosmetic treatments and the liposuction treatments. So there's a lot of room for more medical tourism companies to tie up from the West for other stuff, for dental treatments, for other medical treatments, for surgeries. Right now, the other countries like, the subcontinent, Thailand and Vietnam are capitalizing on this, but UAE can also do it, because if the difference is not much, people would prefer coming to UAE because tourism in general is more popular here than other countries. So where other countries, when they go in, it's only for medical treatment, but here they can actually, they can have a little bit of fun in UAE as well when they come for their tourist stuff, for their medical. So this is about it. This was my talk. I'm open for any questions. If you all would like to ask me anything, please feel free to do so.
Just want to make a comment, Dr. Pratik. There was one very interesting thing you said earlier, that we can't put a baby into college. It's a good thing, actually, because if you put baby into college, then we'll become Capital Nursery College, University College, So it's going to be, it's just a change of name is another hassle. But thank you for your inputs, because I think what you said was very true. We all face the same problems. It's just our industries are different. So you have headaches from different departments of the government arms, and we have respective headaches from different departments. But end of the day, I think once you overcome all that, there's a streamlined approach that all we have to do is we just have to follow that, and life is good. What you did mention also are real problems. So the students and other people on this group, these are real problems, by the way. So what the textbook tells you is probably hypothetical sometimes, whatnot, but these are real businessman issues. Tomorrow morning, when you guys start your own business or look at something, these are things that are going to crop up. Hopefully we have, and I think Dr. Pratik gave some solutions also, what he had applied at every single stage. And that was very helpful to Dr. Pratik. Thank you very much. Guys, any questions? Please, let's get the ball rolling so we can get started. Dr. Fawzia, you too can ask, it's fine. You're not exempt from it.
Right. So I just want to thank Dr. Pratik for showing so many opportunities. What if in case today's mindset, I believe the students, even they have this entrepreneurial thought in their mind somewhere. Everyone, as you said, sir, everyone wants to become something of their own, So you enlightened us on so many topics. So which is good. I think some of our, at least even 1 or 2 of our students have caught up on that, and they will be taking some action to have their own business. It'll be great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Students, if anyone wants to ask any question, you may please.
Yeah, can I ask one question, please?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm seeing Dr. Sanjay sir and Bhaja ma'am, and thank you, Dr. Mittal, for this very motivational speech as well as very informational speech too. And you discussed about this thing. I'm very happy today that the first thing you told that location is the best suitable. Location must be suitable, and another we must have budget, and we must have a strong team too, and we have to give the time and approval as well as contracting insurance company. And the best thing for today for me is learn to unlearn. That's a very good thing for me. It's a learn to unlearn. And actually, I'm from Nepal. I'm Shukra Biki, and I'm a faculty member, mathematics faculty member of Kathmandu University before 4 months. And I spent my 10 years in teaching mathematics there. Then I worked as a coordinator for Kathmandu University. Then when I started to work Kathmandu University, I felt a kind of lack of management knowledge, and wanted to take the management skills, and wanted to get some management international exposure. So I chose Capital University College. I'm very happy now, though I'm not taking physical classes because of COVID situations. But you did MBA, BDS, MBA, and other things. At last, PhD. I got quite surprised, and it's, this kind of program is very motivational for us. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay and Pajam.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Pratik, there's one question for you here from Dr. Khalid, I believe. Yeah, Dr. Khalid. Thank you, Dr. Pratik, for the lecture. Can you elaborate on the insurance part? When to apply? How long does it take to acquire the approval from them? And how many insurances should a clinic actually acquire?
Okay, so yes, very good question. Basically, what happens is once you start your clinic, you want these insurance to be, you want to be empaneled with these insurance companies so that there's a direct billing with them. That means, let's say, for example, a company like MetLife. Now, everybody who has insurance with MetLife can actually open their app, see where it works, so that your name shows up as well. And if you're actually in the locality is same as the person stays, you would prefer going to the nearby clinic, right? And probably they might check some Google reviews, but if your clinic falls there, you will at least be visible. Now, how long does it take to acquire approval for them? Some of them, it's quick. Some of them, it takes 6 months, 8 months. It depends on how you approach them. There are 2-3 ways of getting to them. If you have some connect with them, someone who works in the company, work goes faster. But if you directly approach them, if you send them emails, the reply takes months and months to come in. Also, there are some insurance brokers, some companies, some consultants who help you get empaneled with them, but they charge anywhere between 15 to 20,000 per insurance company. So it depends on whether small clinics or small chains can actually afford that kind of a hit. The best way to do is make sure you apply to them, take it organically, apply to them, fulfill their checklist, submit it to them. Either they actually approve it or they say that we right now not taking it. If they're not taking it, then even consultants or brokers cannot help you. How many insurances should a clinic acquire? As many as possible. Why miss out on any? If you can take every insurance company that you can, what's the harm? As long as there is no renewal fee with them, as long as there is no, so what it works is, how it works is, some of the insurance companies, they have a renewal fee. If you don't have any renewal fee with them, keep them on board. There's no harm. But if you realize that the renewal fee is 6,000 and you're only getting patients for 3,000-4,000, then you can probably try them for 1 more, 2 more years. But just like any business which is not making money for you, this this insurance company is also like a business which is not giving you the gain. So you can probably cut ties with them, or you can, probably just tell them that we will not be accepting this insurance anymore. But most of the good ones don't have any renewal fees. Once you are empaneled with them, your price list stays the same. So even if 6-7 years later, if you want to redo the price list, there's a long process to get, so you have to get reapproval from them. As long as you can keep them, you should try to get the approvals, try to find out what is the demographics in your area. If you have a lot of local population, the Marathis in your area, they all have insurance, which is, by the government, which is like Inaya, Al-Madala, Saiko. Try to approach them. If you find in your area, there are more of people staying from this company and they all have AXA, Midnight, those are the first ones you should approach. So, more the merrier. Keep them for as long as possible. How long does it take to acquire? It depends from insurance company to the insurance company. Some are very quick, while some take very, very long time. Even though they approve you, it takes 3-4 months to get the contract for them to sign and actually start accepting. So they've approved you. They've told you, yes, you're on board with us, but you don't have any credentials, any login to actually start accepting the patient. That could take 2-3 months.
Fantastic. I hope that helps you, doctor. Yep. Okay. Dr. Pratik, can you read the questions at your end in the chat box, perhaps? Can you just open the chat box for a moment?
Yes, I can read that. So I mentioned
that,
IT into the healthcare is one of the challenges professional encounter. I want to ask in doctors, is the IT challenges addressed satisfactorily? So again, it depends. I mean, is it addressed satisfactorily? Yes. Can it be better? Of course, yes. When I go, when it's a small clinic, it's okay. But when are the big chains, government sectors, where there are, let's say, 8 or 9 government sectors, and I want to understand what is happening or what is the most commonly reported chief complaint. Can I get the numbers easily from all those 8 centers? Till now, no. It's very difficult. Is the software, some places, yes, private sectors, yes. In the government, is it still yes? No. There's still a room for improvement. Can I, can I integrate IT into such a way that when I prescribe this medicine, the patient can directly know that putting in the app that, okay, these are the 10 pharmacies near me. Is this medicine available? Which is the pharmacy closest to me where this medicine is available? It's still happening that doctors are writing a prescription with 4 medicines. They're going to one pharmacy which has 2. Then they need to go to another one where the insurance is not working, to go to another one where they can get the 3rd one, and then they go to 4th. Can I have an app which tells me, okay, this is where the pharmacy which has all 4 available and in stock, and I can directly go there? Those are the small things, small changes, which if we can address and incorporate more and more IT and apps and get more digital, yes, it will help the healthcare sector. Can we have more e-consults with doctors? Yes, this is where the IT sector comes in. Can you approach a doctor on just an app? It happened a lot in COVID. Can it keep going? Will it be very, very easy in the future as well? This is where we want the IT sector to come in and help the healthcare sector.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Dr. Pratik, while there's another question coming along, I have a comment to make. So the next clinic you open, I would like you to involve our students in doing the decoration, because our Capital College campus in Sharjah, the entire interior design has been done by them for the reception area. From concept till actually fixing the last nail has been done by the interior design group. So, and it has come in many design magazines and whatnot. So yeah, so keep this in mind. I'll keep reminding you.
Definitely.
So guys, any other questions, please post it. Feel free to ask. More than welcome.
Yep.
Yeah, Dr. Pratik is all yours.
Okay. So actually what motivated me, to be very honest, again, I'll not name the clinics that I was working in, but I just realized that, even after giving 7-8 years to the clinic, going out of the way to help each and every patient, when the time came in COVID, you actually realized that you were just someone making money for them. There were no emotions attached. It was just a business. This is where I started detaching. What they did was they kept every doctor on a 10% payroll, on assistant on a 5% monthly salary of what you were actually making, during COVID. How can you survive to stay in this city? Your room rent was more, the assistants used to come and tell me, the nurses, that my room rent is 3 times of what I'm actually getting paid to still work. So the nurses, the doctors actually putting themselves at risk, were at the highest exposure of COVID and still getting, so you realize that the business owner wants to just make the same amount of money. It doesn't matter who you are, they will not. So that is when I realized that, eventually the best thing would be to work for yourself. And I would advise everyone to gain the experience. You can't, can I open a clinic from day one I graduate from college? Very difficult. Learn experience, because every day on the job I learned a lot. I learned a lot of things when I was working for the clinics. But eventually, somewhere down the lane, plan yourself that you have to work for yourself. Whatever business you try to get into, eventually someday, is it possible for everyone? No, but somewhere down the lane, you would want to work for yourself. So for me, yes, with the support of my family, yes, it was possible. And that is what I was passionate about, dentistry. So this is what I always wanted to do. But then I realized that when I can, when you have a doctor running the clinic, is very different from someone who's a business mind running the clinic. For them, emotions aside, it's only about numbers. When they come at the end of the month, they want to see how much profit you made, how much. They don't care about how well you did, what you did, what, the feedback was. Very few mattered. So I just realized that I wanted to, open up something where, there's more care, and rather than just numbers into the clinic. Of course, when you do that, the numbers will follow. But I wanted to do things differently. And this is why I started my own clinic. The first 6 months in the beginning, yes, it's difficult. And, but again, you only take that step once you know you can support yourself enough for the time, you should have enough savings. You should have enough time to survive for those holding period. Only then I would advise you to take that step. There are success stories, but then there are a lot of people who didn't make it also. So you don't want to lose all of your savings to start something, which then, you don't. So you should give yourself 6-8 months. And that's what I told you. Under expect and overachieve. Ask yourself, if I make 0 from my business for the first 8 months, how long can I survive? And when that answer comes to 6 or 8 months, you're ready for that step.
Fantastic, Doctor. Doctor, we're getting more and more questions your way. So we're going to keep you busy.
I'll be quick with them. What were your fears and how did you? Yeah, the fear was the same thing that, what happens if it doesn't work, what happens if it doesn't work? I lose my savings, I lose my investment, but can I lose my talent? Can I lose my job? I can still work as a dentist, right? So they can't take away my talent. Yes, I can lose my finances. I could have lost the money that I saved, but eventually I can always go back working as a dentist and, start again. Would I have then again still started? If you fail in a business and you are going back to it and you don't start from scratch, you start from those years of experience or that experience of that failed business, which is more than, any amount of capital that you can have. So even failures teach you a lot. So yes, you have the fear, but if it doesn't work, I can always go back to dentistry. That the thing is still, they can't take that away from me. Yes, I could lose my finances. I could have, lost a lot of money, had taken a loan, have been on an EMI plan, cut down on my lifestyle, made sure to pay all that money back. But I could have still gone back to working as, so that was the only fear, but that's how you overcome them. You ask yourself that, what is the worst? And when that happens, can you go back to what you were doing before? Yes, you can. I could have still taken a job somewhere and started again. So do you have any thoughts to expand this business to poor people for society contribution? Yes, definitely. We are trying to do that. We do a lot of camps here as well. We were doing it before as well. So yes, we do a lot of dental camps. We do a lot of things for people who can't afford it, and we don't like to publicize it, but when we do it, it's actually happening. How do you feel about being an entrepreneur in the UAE at the end of the day? Yeah, it feels good. It feels good that you've established something. It's a journey. So you started by working for someone, you gained that experience, you gained the finances, and then you started your own. And now you want to grow this one, into probably more and more clinics. So it's all about a journey, and it doesn't stop. You just keep growing every day. You keep learning. Yes, that's about it, I think. Any other questions?
So I have a question to the doctor. Thank you, doctor,
Yes,
for your
please.
valuable time and precious suggestions for the Capital University students. Hope your motivational speech and business talks will do good for the students. Suppose I am watching your degrees, PhDs and other things. Then do you had any fear of getting back or the other things? Or suppose you have done BDS, MSc, then you go through the MBA, then you go through the PhDs, then you you have a doctorate. So why do you go towards the different fields, different faculties of educations? Or do you have a fear of getting backward or other things? Shall I know about the things that the
So
students are doing?
I believe in, that you're learning every day. It's a lifelong learning process. It doesn't stop. Yes, universities teach you something, and it's good to have that. But every day that you're learning, my field is changing. If you some of the articles that I showed was on artificial intelligence and robotic applications. My field is changing. When newer techniques are coming, so
Yeah.
every day I'm learning something. Every day I'm reading. The best part when I was teaching in the university was, every day that I was teaching, I was learning few things more.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to science. Did you all know anything about quarantine, COVID 2 years back? We were all learning as we go along. Same thing
Yeah.
in our dental field, in our medical field.
Yeah.
Every day we are learning new things, newer techniques. The science is moving, it's so fast. So the learning never stops.
Yeah.
And I believe whatever profession you are in, it's a lifelong learning. But the
So
day you stop learning, you stop growing.
yeah. So the last questions for the doctor. Do you have any suggestion as you are the students of MBA? Do you have any suggestions, the students for MBA or BBA who are running the management faculties? And do you have any suggestions for the students who are doing on it?
I mean, my suggestion would be to learn as much as possible. Speak
Yeah.
to more and more people who are into
Yeah.
business, who are running their business. Speak to them
Yeah.
about their challenges, because there are a lot of things which textbooks or colleges or universities or lectures cannot teach. You
Yeah.
have to actually be in it to learn it. When you start. So more and more with MBA, if with support of Dr. Sanjay, you'll have these business talks.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one aspect. I'm just one field of mine. In the future, you will have more different people, more established people who have in different sectors, in different fields, whether it's a chain of supermarkets or a chain of IT or a chain of computer shops or retail or cloth. You'll have more and more people sharing their experiences, learn from their experiences. A genius is someone who can learn from others' mistakes and not learn it. Everybody learns from their own mistakes, but if you can actually learn from someone else's mistakes, that is where it really counts and it really matters. So when you are as an MBA student, my advice would be to network with more and more people.
Yeah.
Read more, not just your, the textbooks are the ABC. You have to learn the rules, but you need to actually speak to the people who could break those rules like a master and still, master the art. So those are the people who you want to learn from. And only when you think out of the box is when you can achieve something different. So that's what I would say.
So thank you, Doctor. Thank you, University, for your time. Hope to work with Dr. Pratik Premji soon. I hope the graduates will work with you together. Then the university also help us or get negotiators to work with you together. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you. How is the UAE environment for new entrepreneurs? All about raising fund? Yes, there are certain things where you can raise funds. There are private funds which can help you as well. Dr. Sanjay's fund can help you as well. So yes, if you have a good startup idea, you all watch Shark Tank. There's your biggest shark there, Dr. Sanjay. If you have a really nice idea, pitch it to him, and who knows, he'll buy a stake in it. There's no quote which says, there's no word called
We
luck.
students are facilitating about these ideas. That's a great word.
There's no word called luck in business. What I've realized is the harder I work, the luckier I get. That's a common saying. So yes, there's no luck. It's all planned. It's a lot of planning is required. A lot of hard work is required. And when all these things go hand in hand, then yes, when you make it big, you can call it luck. And if you don't make it big, you can blame it on your bad luck. So
Yes.
it's eventually
Doctor, sorry guys, one second. Who's speaking? Okay, Mr. Mustafa, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Thank you.
How do you build
Doctor,
a successful customer base? Yes, please.
Doctor, my question would be,
Yes,
when
yes,
you
Mr.
first
Mustafa. Yes.
from an employee to your own startup, and you were sort of becoming an employer, what was your mindset? Like, a majority of the times when entrepreneurs, they even though they seem to have a foolproof plan to enter into the market, but there is some sort of hesitation holding them back. Like, okay, what if this fails? And especially when you have a recurring income coming up. So what would be your take on, or could you just walk through your experience of what mind state were you when you first, jumped
very
from
nice question. I was in a very comfort zone. Like, I had a good salary amount coming in. I had a good balance. First of every month, salary credited to your account. You're happy, life is going on. But like they say, if you want to do something different, then you have to step out of your comfort zone. If I would have stayed there, there's a certain level after which you can't. It's very difficult to go. So you have to take that step. What became different is when you are an employee, when it's first of the month and you're getting the salary, you're happy. But when you're an employer, it's first of the month, you have to pay out the salary. So it's actually, a bad time of the month to be in, where you're actually seeing your account going down because you are paying out. So, but again, it's all good once everything starts growing in, like you said, you build a successful customer base. So first year into the business, you want to actually build you want to have customer satisfaction at the highest level. So this is what I wanted. I told every doctor of mine here, every patient that comes in should go back so happy that they actually recommend 3 other people. So that would be your best word of mouth marketing. You don't need to then spend any money on marketing. You don't need to do anything. Your customer base itself will build more customer base for you. So every patient that walks out of the clinic should be really happy. The smallest of the concerns for them should be addressed. Make sure that when they're going in, they have no questions. They're being followed up well. So that is how, you work on the first few months. And then once that happens, automatically with the word of mouth, the business starts coming in. Of course, you have to be good at it, to making it successful. You can't be doing, you can't be selling a bad product and expect it to become a big hit. If that happens, you're really lucky. Then you can have a word for luck. But if you have a good product, then you have nothing to fear. You just need to stick with it and you need to make it grow.
Thank you, Dr. Pratik. I think with this, we'll call it at the end of the day. I was going to call it earlier, but then I saw the person's name is Salman Khan, so I can't stop him. Too much respect for that name. So we went ahead with that question. But thank you, Dr. Pratik, again for your words of advice. Thank you so much. It was wonderful. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Doctor, for your valuable time.
Attended this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Dr. Fauziya, please, you can kindly conclude it.
Thank you, Dr. Pratik and Dr. Sanjay, sir.
So sweet. Thank you so much, Mr. Premjani.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you, all of you. The questioning session was really wonderful. We all enjoyed. I hope all of you also enjoyed. And thank you so much, Dr. Pratik, for joining in and guiding our students with the
really,
thoughts and knowledge. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay,
Thank
for
you,
joining.
guys. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening, all of you.
Have a good
Thank you.
evening.
Thank you, sir.